is a mild April 10th, 2021. We're at the Long Island Railroad Station in Rosedale, which is in the borough of Queens, just west of Valley Stream, on the Montauk branch and Atlantic branch. They both pass by here. Today we're going to do some plane and train buffing. Today the planes are landing on runway 22 at JFK, and they fly right over here before they land. Concentrate on interesting aircraft and M9MU trains and diesels. Well, here comes a Delta connection from Chicago, an Embraer aircraft as an M7 goes by. And next up is an Alitalia 777 from Milan to JFK. I hope the people enjoyed their spaghetti and meatballs on board. And next is something that's a dime a dozen around here, a JetBlue Airbus 321 arriving from San Juan, Puerto Rico. .45, here comes train 7052 from New York to Babylon with M7s. This is a busy spot, both in the air and on the ground. Comes an American Airlines 777 from Paris, Charles de Gaulle Airport. Caribbean Airways 737 variant from Kingston, Jamaica. Next up is Viva Aerobus A320 from Mexico City. Here comes a Delta Airlines A320 from Miami. Well, next up is a Delta 767 from Atlanta. I think Delta flies out of Atlanta a few times a day. Quite a few times. next arrival is an Emirates Airlines 777 from Dubai, United Arab Emirates. That's a long trip. Boy, I'm sure glad this camera has a built-in stabilizer. And 218, that was train 8763 from Patchogue to Jamaica. And this next plane is a Delta Airlines Airbus 220 from Austin, Texas to JFK. Comes an American Airlines 737 MAX from Miami. There's no mistaking the blue on that one. That's a KLM 767 Dreamliner from Amsterdam, Netherlands. It's about an 8-hour flight, maybe a little more than that. A little bit further than flying from London. And here comes Korean Air Cargo 777 from Anchorage, Alaska. Next up is a favorite, Aer Lingus from Dublin, Ireland. I've got Irish blood in me, but I've never been to Ireland. And when I go to Ireland, which will hopefully be relatively soon, that's who I'm going to fly there on. It's just a short flight over the Atlantic, relatively short compared to other European destinations. Flying the Shamrock. About a 6-hour flight from JFK, a little longer coming back because he's going into the wind. Oh, I can smell the corned beef and cabbage that's left over on that flight. And we got got a Delta Airlines Heavy, a 767 extended range coming in from Los Angeles International Airport. Here comes train 8736 from Jamaica to Spionk, way out east. This place keeps you busy. There's a whole bunch of overseas flights coming in that are over eastern Long Island and Cape Cod. Should be here shortly. Well, the wind is picking up from the southeast now, and they switched the runways. They're using runway 13 now, so they're not flying over here. It was fun while it lasted. Since there are no more airplanes flying over, I'm concentrating on trains now, strictly. And in so doing, I moved east to Valley Stream. You're looking at one of the pedestal signals here for Valley interlocking. You're looking at a set of M9s which are being used on the West Hempstead Scoot today. Valley Stream was reached in 1867. It's been electrified like crazy. Valley Stream, you have junctions of several lines. You have the Atlantic branch from Jamaica that goes through Rosedale, at platforms at Rosedale. You have the Long Beach branch that ends here. You have the Far Rockaway branch that ends here. And you have the West Hempstead branch that ends here. They all converge. The only exception is the Montauk branch. Those are the two tracks you see on the right of the M9s. They go right on through. He's one of the few remaining interlocking towers on the Long Island Railroad. Valley pretty much controls the Long Beach branch, the Far Rockaway branch, the West Hempstead branch, and the Montauk branch as far as Freeport. And here beyond the pedestal signal on track 2, you can see the Far Rockaway branch diverging off to the right. 34, here comes train 6113 from Babylon to New York, rushing past the tower. This M9 set was supposed to go out as train 6954 to West Hempstead at 3:48, but that train's been canceled. 6857 from Long Beach on track 2. That was a Babylon bound train. So there's Air France coming in from Paris. That slow approach signal is for train 8856 for Far Rockaway. You'll see him curve off onto the branch. Here he comes. Atlantic Terminal to Far Rockaway. Well, he's off to West Hempstead, but not as a revenue train. Approaching now is train 6114 from New York to Babylon at 3:57. Believe it or not, I'm going to go back to Rosedale. They went back to that runway again. Well, I'm back again as Cape Airlines flies over. Here comes train 7057 from Babylon to New York at 4:22. Somebody's backfiring on Sunrise Highway to my left. JFK's been playing musical runways, and I've been playing musical train stations. Back at Rosedale once again, hopefully to stay before I call it quits. And coming in is Air Serbia from Belgrade. Airbus 330, I believe. And here comes Turkish Airlines, 777 from Istanbul. Gonna be flying right over me. Here comes JetBlue from West Palm Beach, Florida. And here we have a JetBlue Embraer aircraft coming in from Detroit. Aeroflot from Moscow is right behind them with a 777. Sun angle is getting tough. And here comes Aeroflot from Moscow. Be landing in a few minutes and the pilots can have some vodka. Hopefully they weren't drinking it on the way. Aeroflot used to fly Tupolevs and Antonovs. I remember the Antonov IL-86. It was like a Russian-built version of the Airbus 300. They even had a supersonic transport plane that they flew. Happily, they bought American. Here comes a Delta 757 from San Juan, Puerto Rico. You got a CMA air cargo plane from Liège, Belgium. Close behind, then a DHL 777 cargo plane from Nagoya, Japan, behind him. Well, here's another one of those JetBlue Airbus 321. He's coming in from San Francisco with the CMA cargo plane from Belgium right behind him. And this is an Airbus 330, CMA cargo from Belgium. You can bet he's loaded. Gonna hang around here for another hour. More planes and 3 diesel trains. Here comes DHL, finishing his long trip from Japan. 777. Next up is a Delta Airlines 767 from Los Angeles. Probably left Los Angeles around 8 o'clock in the morning local time. Right now, the lineup of aircraft coming into JFK looks like a gigantic comma. And the commas, the bottom of that comma is around Manasquan, New Jersey. Well, this plane coming in is a 767. It's from the American Airlines family. It's a cargo plane. Air Transport International. Coming in now is a Delta 757 from Denver. I was actually at one time planning on getting one of those discount fares to Denver on Delta. Fly out about 8 o'clock in the morning, get there around 11, and hang around there until midnight, take the red eye home. Do a little rail fanning in Denver and see the city. They did away with that red eye flight during the pandemic. Next up is an airline I haven't seen at all today, United Airlines. 767 from San Francisco. Left probably around 8 o'clock in the morning local time. When I go to the West Coast and I fly back to the East Coast, I like to take the red eyes. That way you can spend the whole day out there, fly all night, and get home first thing in the morning. Don't like flying all day from the West Coast. Here's a JetBlue Airbus 321 from St. Martin, Dutch Antilles. I think this has a special livery, special tail color. Here comes another Turkish Airlines 777 from Istanbul. It's the second one I've seen today. I get kind of dizzy doing this, but it's fun. And I'm hanging around for a few special trains and a few special planes. 5:50, here comes train 8774 en route from Jamaica to Patchogue. Darn, it's almost 6 o'clock. Pretty soon call it a night, but not before I see 2 more diesel trains westbound and 4 flights from overseas. 1 Air France, 1 Finnair, 1 Virgin, and 1 British Airways, although not necessarily in that order. Comes 6127 from Babylon to New York. 8709 should be right behind them. And here comes Air France from Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. I'm sure a lot of French onion soup was consumed on that airplane. I wonder if they work for New Jersey Transit. And 609 coming west is train 8709 en route from Montauk to Jamaica. It's got an 8-car set with an engine on each end. Most likely dual modes. Well, here comes an Airbus 350 from Finnair, from Helsinki, Finland, where he left 8 hours ago. One of the longest flights from Europe. And at 6:17 westbound comes our last diesel train we'll see here today. 8769, Patchogue to Jamaica. Next up is Virgin Atlantic from London Heathrow. Airbus 350. I haven't seen that today. Not too far away behind him is British Airways 179 from Heathrow. And behind the trees is British Airways 179, 777 from London Heathrow. Looks like he's landing on runway 22 right. It's a little further west of me than the rest of them have been. Fitting end to this intriguing day of planes and trains. There's a Lufthansa Cargo MD-11 out there and an Ethiopian Airlines 787, but won't stick around for those.